Welcome to another episode of Coffee with Gays. I'm Blaine.
And I'm Reed.
And we have a very special guest today, Robert Raasch, the author of The Summer Between. You want to show it off?
Sure. New copy with a little foil that just got added on last week.
And you are our very first author. I'm super excited. Wow. I have to tell you, reading this book felt like kind of flipping through someone else's memories and really the story I wanted to live. I mean, this was so cool because it was like living in 1978 Greenwich Village, a little gay boy coming out story and a love story as well. And, you know, I think as a gay man, you kind of like, what do you like? How do you explain it? Like you kind of, sorry, you're my first author, so I'll get there.
That's okay. I know I was trying to help you, but I wasn't sure where you were going.
He's so starstruck. Y'all have him so nervous.
I'm a little nervous.
Take a breather.
I'll be good. I'll do this again. I'll do this part again.
I'll ask you some questions about the book since I haven't read it. Since I was terrible.
Oh, yeah, so you could ask me genuinely. Yeah.
I did not.
What the hell is this about?
Yeah, I'm so sorry. Would you be able to briefly give me a little description about the book? I'm sorry, Blaine, I did not read the book. I'm sorry, Robert, I did not read the book.
Would you mind fine. No,
give me
not
a little
at all.
Synopsis on it?
Sure. It's a coming of age story, and it's historical fiction, actually, which is really fun doing all the research for it. It's set in 1978 in and around Manhattan. The main character, Andy, grows up in northern New Jersey, and his gal pal, his ex-girlfriend, the two of them are exploring life over a summer. And as a reference, I just started talking about this a little bit more. I used a book that I loved as a teenager called Siddhartha by Hermann Hesse, which is a spiritual journey of a young Indian man, a Brahmin Indian. I think it was written in 1924. And over the span of a period, he meets all these animals and people that help him define his spirituality. So I love that concept of using a finite frame of time, like 3 months, one summer, and they go from being high school seniors to young adults, from New Jersey to New York, and all the people that they encounter, good and bad, that influence them.
Yeah, I think that's what was so beautiful about the book. And it was this beautiful summer, and a lot of bad things happened, and then really beautiful good things happened. He was sexually assaulted and then also fell in love. Why did you pick 1978, that time period in particular?
I wanted the story to be pre-AIDS. I wanted it to, there was a lot going on in the world then. It was like the end of the Vietnam War. There was politically a bunch going on. So I drew in references. The Equal Rights Amendment March was that summer. Jimmy Carter was the president, and there were sort of Mideast peace talks, and I just drew all of these different things into it. It was also a really exciting time for gay rights, where people were completely free, and one of the first periods where they had gone through, I think they called it it's referenced in the book, and I think it was like the gay liberation movement, so it was like much longer and specific. And that had happened a couple of years, and it was just a joyous time. And I wanted to try to use that against some of the pain and confusion he had about his sexuality and some of the things he was learning. And I also wanted to portray him as just a guy. He's a guy. And that's like where I pulled stuff in from me, like he's got a construction job in the summer, and he does these, I wanted to show and help educate that gay people aren't all one type or a little bit of everything. And I wanted to portray this as a young guy,
Well, I personally connected with this because you said that you also dated women. I also was engaged to a woman when I was a young man. And that's kind of how this opens. He comes out to his ex-girlfriend and his best friend, right?
Yeah, first chapter. He comes out to her, and, it's like, one of the things I like that people have come back with is that it's very authentic. And I really, really dug deep to try to get into these characters. And I ended up really liking them. But I would go to bed and I'd wake up thinking about that kind of stuff, thinking about like, well, what would they really say? Like not trying to always come up with different things, but really have it be authentic. And I feel like that scene where he and she are discussing his sexuality in the park and he's essentially coming out to her, I feel like that sets the tone for the rest of the novel in the first chapter.
Yeah, it really did. I love that scene, and it kind of reminded mine did not end that way, by the way. She never talked to me again.
Aw. Is like, she's made up. That didn't happen in my life. I would say, like, people have asked me this, and I've talked to some other authors in their first books. I would say about 25% of this is drawn from my life. And Andy is in character similar to me, but it's 75% fiction, especially the plot devices, the
So
story, the elements of the story.
That was going to be my question. I was going to say, how closely does this relate to your personal experience?
Yeah, I would say it started out being more of that because I didn't realize I was writing a novel when I started. I was just writing short stories, and it wasn't like, oh, I'm going to write a book. It just kind of all happened over a couple of years. So I started out writing more about things as I felt as a young gay man and tried to portray it and put it in this period. Then I wanted to switch it up and change it. And then, so I went back and I really fictionalized a lot of it. But the character's pretty much in many ways like me, but more courageous than I was. I was a little bit shyer and a little bit less, courage is a theme throughout the book. I had courage, but not as much as he does. He kind of pushes the envelope a little bit more. But I was just, he works at a public electric plant during one summer. I did that. So I pulled stuff like that in because I wanted him to be relatable. Like he's just, as I said earlier, a guy, who happens to be gay.
I think too, well, I have a question. Did you have like a really strong female presence too? Because he had a lot of strong women in his life.
Not in the same way. I had a stepfather growing up. He does not have one. And he's raised by his mom, his grandmother, his aunt. And I, like Elena, is like another strong female force. And for me, no, I had a stepfather. My grandmother was a strong personality, but I had a grandfather for a period. I had a lot of friends. So that's different. But that's what made it fun for me is like, how do I put this character into a situation instead of just writing what I know and really thinking about that. And there's the juxtaposition of him growing up with women and then transitioning, not necessarily to a world of men, but with a focus on men because of his romantic interests, not even his sexuality. I wanted it to be about romance. It wasn't like he needed to have sex with men. He wanted to fall in love with a man. And from my perspective, that's more realistic for me. And I don't know, I think the female presence and then him going to a world where he loved men but wasn't really equipped or didn't have all the tools because he didn't have intimate relationships with men growing up. Does that make sense?
Yeah, that does make sense. That actually makes me think a lot because it's almost like throughout his interactions with men, even going to the gay bar for the first time, he didn't have a lot of interactions with men growing up, right?
No, so it was awkward.
Yeah, everything was very awkward.
I tried to show that arc where he goes from being really awkward to kind of growing his sea legs a little bit.
Yeah, that's what was so cute about it, I think. Like you really saw him grow up so fast through these very kind of tragic experiences. But I think we all kind of had those too. I mean, we've shared our coming out stories. How was your coming out story, I guess? What was it like?
It was, I did come out early. Yeah, it was somewhat similar in that I came out early. My mom was fairly accepting, but she screamed when I told her because nobody guessed.
Sorry.
Yeah,
what do you
please.
What do you consider early? Just out of curiosity.
18. Okay. I was 18. I was still in high school. So some of those earlier parts of the book are relatable to me and shared to me. But yeah, I was slower to sort of get out of the gate than Andy is. I recognized it, but I was like, oh, but I like women too. Like I'm attracted to, I had some girlfriends in high school and it was just, I don't know. And that, yeah. So it's like it was a somewhat similar experience, but the best way to describe it is Andy is much more advanced and did more research and was bolder in seeking out, I want to say love more than sex. Like he was, and that's similar to me. It's always been like, I've always thought of like somebody as somebody I want to date, not somebody I want to have sex with, if that makes sense. And that makes me a weirdo, I know, in the gay world.
Join the club. Join the club.
I feel like I'm like giving too much here, but it's really about the character and the difference between him and I. Some of the tragic scenes did not happen to me.
And how do you write about something like that with so much passion, I guess?
That's what was really fun. I mean, it really is kind of like taking myself out of the day, you know, and I listened to 70s music a lot while I was writing, but really like, you know, after the first draft, really digging deeper, like what would this guy feel like? Because I got to know the characters and I got to know, okay, he's a shade of me, but he's not. And like, what would he really feel? And that was the most fun. I mean, I've always been a little bit of like a psychology nerd and kind of like, I love family sagas and like the, just getting into people's minds and how they think. And that allowed me to get in there and then be really creative with it and figure out what would this guy feel? What would this be like? Like you mentioned earlier, so the assault scene, that took a long time. That was probably the hardest to write. And because I did some research and all of that, like, you know, what do victims feel like? But I also wanted it to be, well, was it an assault? You know, like I wanted him to not have clarity about that because he was so young and so immature. Like, was it his fault? Was it like, why did it happen? So like, I tried to bring all of these different questions. I don't know. I think everyone's experience is different and the circumstances are different. So I can't speak to that. But I think I wanted him to early in appear as naive as I thought he might be and uncertain as to why, when you go home with somebody, does something like this happen?
Yeah, and I think that is a really good question because you really don't know at that age. I think of when I was 18, well, I was still in the closet. I actually envied Andy because he got to come out so early in those younger years. I mean, I guess I came out at the end of college, but I would have loved to be out in high school, you know, just a little bit earlier.
Yeah. Yeah, well, there's a difference between like being out to your family and not to your classmates. What were you going to say, Reach?
I would not agree with that. I'm very grateful that I didn't come out. I went to Catholic high school. Yeah, I mean, it wasn't Catholic high school in South Florida was not rough, but I still don't think an openly gay kid would be too accepted. I also dropped out of high school multiple times, so.
I want to hear your story now. I want to hear both of you. I want to hear your versions.
I'll let Blaine go first.
You go first.
Your coming out story.
My coming out story, I was outed by a woman from my mom's church.
You were 23, you said?
22. And come to find out, long story short, she was in love with me. She tried to get me to date her daughter when I was 15. And it was really gross because come to find out, she actually said to my mom later that she really wanted to date me. But yeah, so she was just a sicko psycho.
Yeah. Catch a predator.
She found it on MySpace. Yeah, I had put that I was gay. So I kind of wanted to be outed, I guess. But, you know, like at the end of the day, I just was really upset. And then the pastor at my mom's church said anybody that raised a gay kid is a bad parent or is, you know, going to hell or something. So it was really hard in the town they lived in. So it took a little bit, but
yeah.
Then it was, you know, my mom called it the death of a dream. And, you know, I just needed to give her a little time, little mourning time. And then she was able to like come to terms with it. Everything's been kind of fine ever since. So.
Good.
And now now she watches the podcast and listen.
Oh, good. Good.
She joined P Flag and she was fine.
She's good.
That's amazing. I love that. That's really a good story.
I'm a big fan of P Flag. They really help.
Yeah. Yeah. Actually, somebody on a different podcast recommended that I donate books to P Flag so that thinking that parents would enjoy this story because I've gotten so many not so many, but several emails from parents who are straight and heterosexual, and they found the book illuminating on how to deal with their kids, whether they're straight or gay, but how to listen to them and not kind of leave them off to figure things out on their own.
I
So
actually
I'm saying,
agree.
I plan to to donate to PFLAGs, but I'm just not sure of the logistics of that yet.
I actually have a really good friend who has a gay son. So I'm totally giving her this book because she's
Good.
I just talked to her yesterday and she's been really struggling with it. I also think his mom's reaction is really honest too. I think I actually have this argument with people on social media all the time when I post clips because I don't think that you have to force your family to just be accepting day one, hour one, minute one, too. I think it's okay for them to just struggle a little bit. And I think that's
Yeah, it's normal.
an honest
It's
thing.
normal.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's normal because they have dreams and expectations, like your mom said about her dream. It's like they don't, especially if they, like my mom had no clue, right? So it was like it took an adjustment period of like, she had this whole plan for me with grandchildren, and which is possible now, but yeah, we have to allow them some grace too. But
Yeah.
the character in my family also was Catholic light. So I remember one of the first things my mom said to me in real life was, "Do you want to talk to a priest?" And I said, "Well, no, you shielded me from the Catholic school," because she was already aware that priests were potentially wonderful, but also there were some that might, prey on a cute little boy or something, Yep, hard to say it, but yep. Not all, for sure.
No, not I mean, I was never preyed upon, for example. But again, like going to Catholic school in South Florida, my mom was my first grade teacher.
Oh,
She taught at the school that I went to. That's the only way that we could have afforded for me to go to Catholic school or my brother to go to Catholic school, because my mom taught there. My dad was a firefighter. My mom was a teacher. Oh, yeah, it's kind of
heroes.
stereotypical.
They're both heroes, two of like the best professions. Add in like, nurses and people in medical stuff, and that's a trifecta.
First responders, for sure. Yes.
Yeah, yeah.
I mean, my dad retired at 45. So he's been retired, I think, longer than he was actually in the fire department at this point. But yeah, I came out around 22 as well. That's also when I lost my virginity. The same guy that I came out for, I stole my virginity. So I don't know. I thought that being gay was, I thought it was a phase. Like I thought it was a part of puberty, if that makes sense.
Yes.
To read this book and grasp his story, I'm really curious to read it now. I'm really curious.
Good. I'll read it to you over the phone.
Perfect. Oh my God, that'd be amazing.
Or I'll record it or something.
I told Blaine, I was like, does he narrate it? And he kept on telling me, Reed, no, there is no book on Audible, whatever. But I compared it to Matthew McConaughey narrating his book Greenlights, and I loved it. And if you ever to listen, anything Matthew McConaughey does narrating wise is amazing.
Yeah.
So for him to narrate his book, I think it'd be awesome if he did narrate your book. But
yeah, well, actually, we talked about it, and it would be like an actor, somebody else.
Really? Why is it?
I don't know. That's just what the publisher said is typically the way it goes. Because I guess there's a lot of like training with the pauses and all of that. McConaughey is an amazing actor. So, if I did it, it would probably be like 20 takes. It would be like Blaine. No, kidding.
Probably, actually. I can't imagine doing an Audible book. Like, that's like a lot of work. I can imagine.
It seems like it would be, yeah.
I mean, I don't know.
Plus they have like an accent and all that. I don't know.
That's what makes it perfect,
I know. I talk like a New Yorker.
Yeah.
When I do readings, there are a couple of scenes where I like push in the New York. Like there's this one scene with this girl from a pizza parlor, Carla from the pizza parlor. So if I do a book reading somewhere, I kind of like go into that voice, which is kind of fun because she's like very like slangy New York.
I would love that.
I'll do it.
So back to the book really quick.
Sorry, my apologies.
I do have a question. What do you think Andy learns from his first love?
Well, that's a really good question.
I thought their relationship was so cute. Him and Ben, just so you know, Andy falls in love with this guy, Ben. after a very not good first experience with a guy.
Yeah, I think I think it allows him to understand what it feels like that you can actually fall in love with another man, that it's not a fantasy or a thought, but he actually had emotional, romantic feelings for this guy, and they were returned. And so I think that excitement and that realization to him was, everything, because that just meant life opens up and it's kind of like a dream come true for somebody that was struggling for all of those years to figure it out, or to know, like, is it a phase, and to go through all of that stuff. So I think it was a revelation for him. And then it got into the reality of dating somebody and like their differences and all of that stuff. But I think it was a tremendous leap of growth for him.
I think that's something like every gay man can really connect with, like that first time that you find love. And well, I should say, I hope everyone. Sorry. Yeah.
He's just so nervous.
He's so nervous. No, he's not.
I know. I never have these issues.
It's true though. I mean, you're a published author. It's a big deal.
But I think that's what every gay man can really connect with. I think that's what every gay man can connect with. I know when I found my first love, it was like, wow, that feeling, and you really feel that in your words when you wrote that. And I'm sure that's what you were going for, but it was really beautiful, I think.
Yeah. And, like, personally, I still go through that. I still have that feeling, like you meet somebody and it's just like, oh my God, like my life could change. It doesn't happen that often, how many times in a life, but butterflies, and yeah, it's fantastic.
I love the butterflies in the stomach feeling.
Reed is Mr. Butterflies over here. He is like literally the worst.
No, so Blaine acts like I fall in love with every guy that I ever meet, and that's not true at all. I think we vastly differ in our dating styles, I guess, and our body counts for sure. But yeah.
So, sorry. So I guess for me, I have so many questions because you also chose to leave it very like open-ended, and like, I love it. I mean, I love that. I guess that's the point. You said that you're kind of, it's like a summer arc, right? Are you doing a sequel, or like,
yeah, are you going to make it a series? Sorry, not to interrupt, but it vaguely resembles the summer I turned 16. Obviously completely different. But,
I like that. Yeah. But yeah, well, like I didn't write it with that intention, and I didn't write the end with like, we're going to continue with the characters, because I never knew it was going to get published. So I just but the end I really struggled with, like, how do I end it? And then I thought, well, I'm not going to say anything about the end, but anything more about it. But
I was trying
so many people have brought up that they like, yeah, I know, you did a good job. But I was trying to, a bunch of people were commenting that they like the characters and they want to see what happened. Even a couple of the reviewers, I think in the GLNR, they said something at the end, like, we really want to see where these characters go. So since I've written very rough drafts, not of the novels, but of where it would continue to have 3 episodes, all that would end around 1982. So the evolution of the characters over like another couple of years, but maybe just sections pulled from their life, like 3-month sections pulled from like 1980 or 1982, and like where they go. Where that is, I don't know yet.
Yeah.
like what happens to them, that comes in all the development and all. But that has been tossed around, but I'm writing something else now because I feel like I need like a palate cleanser to do something else, and then I may return to the characters. I have so many ideas though, for so many books, it's kind of hard,
Yeah, I think this one in particular would be, you could do so many continuations with them. And I think it's also great because I think for the reader, you can also create your own endings as well, which is always kind of beautiful as well. That's how much I connected with them. I know I've kind of like, in my opinion, like continue the story, which I think is always kind of beautiful as well. But I do want to know what
your version. I would like to hear your version of what happened.
I know I have so many alternate versions too. I loved it, but I would love to know
That
what
was
your version
intentional.
is.
That was
I would
intentional for
love
the
to
ending.
know what your version is, though. Let's see.
I'll save that.
I hope it's good. I hope it's good. Um,
Me too.
what was your most surprising, I guess, reaction so far from readers to the book?
That's another good question, Blaine. I think it was from the parents that wrote. I wasn't writing it necessarily for LGBTQ plus audience. I wanted it to be a little bit more mainstream, but I didn't expect parents writing to say how emotional and how important it was for them to read it as sort of a prescription to how to almost like look for signs and make sure that their children felt comfortable with whatever they had to tell them, not just coming out or anything, but anything. And that was really powerful to me. So that was definitely my answer to that. Surprising and lovely.
If this was to be made into a movie, have you thought about
Oh,
who would
geez.
play like Andy and Ben and Elena?
As I was writing the book, so this is part of, I don't know if other writers do this, I pulled characters, mostly actors, so that I could visualize who they might look like. But they're all like too old now to play these characters because it started like several years ago. And I don't know enough about like some of the young actors. Like I think Josh, the guy that was in Challengers, I think he would make a really good Andy, but he's like, probably getting too old now. What's his last name? He's British. And for Elena, like I pictured not somebody to play her, but like Billie Eilish or a young Emma Stone,
That's kind of who
like
I
a
pictured.
quirky.
Yeah.
Really? Oh, really? I like that. I
Yeah.
like that. I think Billie Eilish would be like perfect. Not
She
to
would be
cast her, but
perfect.
like in my mind, she was perfect. Oh, good. I'm glad you agree. Yeah, and Leo would be like,
Yeah,
she's
but
a
I
little
mean,
stoic.
those
She'd be more like Kate Winslet.
Yeah, that would make sense too.
you could do the older versions though of those actors, like those actors that you did want. They could be the grown-up versions.
That's true.
If
Yeah, very
there you go.
interesting. Yeah,
For the third series,
yeah,
maybe.
I like that. I like that.
I've got another random question because I think Elena
Okay.
is such an interesting character. So, if she had TikTok in 1978, what would she post? What would be like her TikTok thing?
Well, she's a Rolling Stones fanatic, right? So we're talking about her TikTok then. So it'd be a lot of stuff about Mick Jagger, the Stones. She was kind of like a pop rocker girl. And she kind of like movie stars, so she would probably like, have lots of clips of actresses that she admired and writers. She's a little precocious, like Andy's a little precocious. So I think it would be more Bruce Springsteen, which plays a little role in this. I think she was like a music girl. And I think that was really big in that era, like rock and roll. Like the Stones concert in the book happened in New York on that night. 1978 at the
Really?
Palladium, got really bad review. Yeah. So that was fun, like digging, like totally geeking out on like some of the facts and stuff.
Wow.
Yeah.
Yeah, you researched that. Wow, that's amazing.
But with
It's really
Google,
detailed.
yeah, it's easier. It's easier for sure.
And I also like with all the scarves that she wore as well. I could really
The
see
scars. Yeah. Sorry.
just like all on scarf talk. Like I love it. I can totally picture this 70s girl in my head. She would be a huge TikTok celebrity. I just could see it.
I was like picturing Joanne Worley and all that, like the scarves, like, and Martha Graham, like they would wear them over their forehead. And I was like, oh, I like the idea of this like high school kid wearing them because she inherited them from her grandmother.
Yeah, I absolutely love that. My mom has like 1,000 scarves. I mean, I don't wear them, but yeah, I could totally see that. I don't know where
Maybe
they're
on
going to go when
Saturday
she
night.
goes. Yeah, right. Exactly. So, I guess what's your advice for young writers that want to get published?
Tell your stories. Just write. We need to tell stories to let people know who we are and how we feel, and or make up stories, write fiction, but that's how we're heard, and that's how we put it into the canon. And there are so many ways to publish now, and people are publishing directly to TikTok. And like it's research how to get your stories out there, have fun with them, have them be somewhat authentic or maybe complete fantasy. I don't know, but do it. And the other thing is like, just in general for all of us, like I said earlier, like I didn't have this fantasy that someday I was going to write a novel. Like things just happen sometimes. And if I did write one, I didn't think like how would I know it would ever get like well received and all of that. So it's just do stuff. If you feel like you want to do something, do it because you don't know where it's going to go and follow it through. Like there are a lot.
Sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt you. How long did it take you
No,
to
you didn't.
write the book?
Well, it took a long time because like early on, I wasn't writing a book. I was writing stories, and then I compiled all these stories, and then I showed them to a couple of people, and then I think I was encouraged. I work really well with encouragement, positive reinforcement. So like if somebody's like, so then I showed it to a writer friend who's well published and known, Christopher Bram, and he was like, Robert, you're a writer. It needs a lot of work. I think it was like double in size, a lot of editing. But that affirmation excited me and pushed me to want to go further. And it's also like another thing is like seek out other people's opinions for young writers, young dancers, young actors, whatever, sports. Like ask older people that know that know their craft or know their sport. Like, how do I navigate this? Because people want to give information. I know now I love giving information to people and sharing knowledge and that sort of thing. And people genuinely, it's a beautiful thing about, I think, human nature is that people do enjoy helping like younger people sort of come up and mentoring and that sort of thing.
100%. Now, what were you doing when you first started the book? Did you ever get to a point where you're like, I can't dive into this full time because I have to pay bills and whatnot? Was that ever difficult for you?
Oh yeah. I mean, I started out as an architect and went to school for architecture and did all of that. And then I had a communication design firm with a business partner for many years. We worked with a lot of the Silicon Valley companies when they were coming up in the early 2000s. And so I had a business when I started this. This was like weekend project or board in Florida project. So I was almost up until 2 years ago working full time aside from this. So because I'm not a trained writer or any of that.
And what happened to the architectural firm or design firm? I'm sorry.
It just petered out. It closed. I moved to Naples and we had an office in Chicago, San Francisco, small one in Naples, small one in Chicago. And I think it just had run its course. Like technology was changing everything. We changed several times over the course of the 15 or so years because of the internet. And I think I just kind of burned out, to be perfectly honest. I was like flying to these different offices and I burned out as well. And just decided to try something else once I got the affirmation.
That's awesome. I'm probably going to pick your brain off recording as far as architecture goes.
Yeah, please,
but
please.
Yeah.
That was great.
Sorry.
Though. I mean, I love being in architecture school. I worked on a bunch of international projects, most of which I never got to see in person, but I love that. I love architecture. I love design.
That's a huge reason why I love Chicago. And I'm not hating on New York City by any means, because I've got to say I've never been
You
to
sure
New York
you
City.
don't want to hate on New York City?
Oh,
New York is I love New York. So
Just do it for the TikTok.
I'm not going to hate on New York City. I've never
Please
been
say something that you hate New York City. Please.
I'll be very clear. I don't hate anything except for maybe
good. I hate the word hate.
Yeah, exactly. But I've never had a urge or want to go to New York City for any other reason than to maybe, see all the touristy stuff like the Statue of Liberty and, Chrysler Building and whatnot. Chicago, I love though. I love everything about Chicago. I love the architecture. I love the buildings. I love
beautiful
the vibe. The exception of the wind, I'm okay. Like, I remember going to Chicago for the first time, burning my face right here because I wasn't prepared at all. But my face was completely burnt. But yeah, that's why I love Chicago. So that's all I was going to say.
Yeah, the architecture here is freaking amazing. Like new and old. It just, there's not like a gap. It just kind of like, I live in this building that was built in 24 or 23, and it's phenomenal. You know, a little creaky here and there, but it's great. And then they're beautiful new buildings, and you know,
It's
I love it. I
I
share
feel
that.
like it still has that big city vibe, but not on top of each other. Like I never got the feel of everyone's on top of you. I didn't feel claustrophobic when I was in Chicago, if that makes sense. So yeah,
It makes
not
total
hating on
sense.
New
That's
York,
one of the
but
things. Yeah, no, it's different. New York, like I describe New York now, which will always be considered home to a degree, is it just has too many people. There are just too
yeah,
many people there now. Like it's grown so much that you can't get things done, and it's just not as enjoyable for me being, you know, if I was there in my 20s and that was perfect because you
right.
have that stamina to do it. Right now, I'll go for a few days here and there and love it,
Yeah, I
you
mean
know.
that's
Get out.
that's how I feel about
Come to
Florida. I feel
Chicago
like
where you can drive and you can, yeah.
yeah,
There are dogs and there are kids in the neighborhood and yeah. It's
yeah,
good.
it's like a good even mix of a big city vibe, but you know, beautiful architecture, artwork, and spaced out. You don't feel like you're on top of your neighbor, even though you
And the
probably
lake,
are.
which
But
is
like,
like a sea.
hmm,
No, you're not.
yeah,
You really, it's
The
really
lake's
spacious
amazing.
here. The lake's
yeah,
amazing. It's like an ocean or, you know, a sea. It's just, and the beaches. Yeah. I could go on, but
Well, I have a question. I have
I
a
won't.
kind of a closing question. So, what's next for you? So, and how do you decide what's next and what to write? And I always kind of wonder that I'm a more analytical person. I'm not a creative type. Well, I guess I am a creative type, but I have my own way of being creative. Like, how do you decide what to write? Yeah.
That's a really good question as well. I love your questions, Wade. I think it's like, you know, I took a little bit of a brief period. What I didn't realize with writing the book was all the promotion. I thought you write it and you give it off and then you write the next one. And so I'm spending a lot of time now, enjoyable time, you know, talking about the book while I'm trying to get the second one going. And I have a few chapters out, but I will say it was like, I was working on another one about three Southern brothers, and I was getting into it, but I was like, not quite sure. And then my mother told me this story about an aspect of her life and a love in her life. And I took that because I thought it was fascinating and decided to run with it. And now it's like completely different, but it's just coming up with a concept, which is I'm familiar with in architecture, right? Or like in painting, I would come up with a concept like this is about Antarctica or melting icebergs, which I did a series of paintings on. But I would come up, this is about, you know, like this book is basically about vulnerability to me, the vulnerability of youth. So that was like the context of it. And the next one is like the concept is it's a woman with a lot of secrets and how that shapes the way she acts throughout her life. She's surrounded by a lot of LGBTQ people in her family. Her son's gay. So there are a couple of little sub stories, but it's another sort of family saga. And I think it started from my mom telling me a piece of her history and being like, ding, that's what I want to
Yeah.
expand upon, you know?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's
That's amazing.
weird. Yeah.
Yeah. I find it like,
And then I
well,
think
even
about it
with
all the time. Sorry.
that's really great. Yeah. No, I mean, it's interesting. I just find it really fascinating how people come up with stories. And even for me, like, when I'm coming up with like TikTok ideas, like, I'm like, okay, how do I come up with them? And I guess learned experience is probably the easiest way, right? We all have kind of crazy lives
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
crazy people around us.
And if you take that and like expand upon it and make it even crazier, then, you know, it becomes, that's the fun part, you know?
I mean, just to speak on Blaine's behalf for a moment, these are show notes, for example, right? And in all honesty, it's written like either a script or a book. You are writing a story here in a sense
Oh,
with these show notes.
yeah.
And it's, believe me, Blaine is extremely creative about it. And I almost feel bad that I never ever used the no offense to you. Blaine works his butt off to do that, but I think you are a story writer or a producer in some way, shape, or form. Some sort of something there.
And probably by writing, it gets into it. Yeah. Like it's how you learn it. It's how you understand it. And I would love to flip the table a little bit and ask you guys what you're passionate about, each of you. What, you know, like for me now, I could just say easily writing? Is there something, like, is there a writer in you or a builder or I don't know, like what's your creative outlets?
In a perfect world, I'm in real estate and I work for a roofing and general contracts company, right? I'm hoping to someday for those two to combine into one, and
Ah,
similar to Chip and Joanna Gaines doing Fixer Upper, I would love to buy houses, flip them, sell them, donate them to, underprivileged communities that, need maybe Section 8 housing or something. That's further down the road, but I would
fantastic.
I would love to do that. That would be really amazing for
That's
me.
amazing. I love
Blaine
that. Yeah. And
would
do it.
probably
Just
be
keep
one of,
like
just
it
keep
will happen if you want
expanding
it to
on it for
happen.
sure. Yeah.
I mean, I really want to focus on content creation. I think media company of my own would be great because I've done it for so many brands. That's really kind of like what I want to do, I think, because
I love that.
yeah, I've been doing digital marketing and ads for so long. I do enjoy the creativity of this. So
You are talented at it, I will
That's
say.
great. I love it.
it's just a lot of
Clearly.
work, but it's about consistency and just keeping it up and having ideas and time.
We're working
Yeah.
on getting Blaine to delegate a little more delegation and a little less, full control over everything type deal.
That's difficult for people. Yeah, that's difficult
It
for a
is.
lot of people, but it really helps. And like things like Chat GPT, people are telling me now, like, well, you could use it to organize all of this and all of that. And that might be your assistant. Like maybe it's not a person, but maybe you can use AI to help be your virtual assistant.
I do.
And I talk
You
to
do.
Chat like he's a buddy of mine. I'll turn him on, put my phone up in my truck, and have a whole therapy session on my way to record this podcast.
That.
Yeah,
I
hand to
love
God.
that.
I'm like,
Yeah, I named mine. Mine is Elena after a character in the book. And I say, "Hey, Elena." She's like, "Hey, Robert." I'm like,
Oh my God,
So
that's
yours is
hysterical.
yours has a female voice?
yeah, I don't know why. I don't know why, but it does have a female voice.
Mine
Yeah.
has this
I
really
don't hear the
soothing
voice.
male voice, and I didn't pick it out. But watch, just for example, hey Chat,
Hey there. How's it going? What's on your mind today?
Oh,
I turn him off though.
You have the surfer one. I have the more dude one.
What
that's a
automatically
sexy
chose
voice,
it? I
though.
didn't, so calming. Sorry.
Yeah, he's good. You can
What
go
is a
change
dude?
it in the settings.
I think of a surfer as a dude.
I think his name is Cove or Cade.
I'd have to check the settings.
I love that.
Yeah.
You know what? I never tried to put the voice on, so I don't know if it's a male or a female voice. I just type where I speak,
Yes.
and then it comes out as words. But
So I'll show you. It's this. I'll send you. I'll text you and send you what to do with like a screenshot and screen recording or whatnot. But it's very efficient and easy for someone that drives all the time. That if I need to access it,
Okay,
I just say,
yeah,
"Hey,
that'd be
Chat,
great.
what's up?"
yeah,
I
I'd love
haven't
to do
named
that.
him yet, but eventually I will. So what did you name yours? I'm sorry. Did you want to do that game or no?
I mean, we can play Red Flag with you. It's about dating.
I'd love it. I love games like this.
You do?
It's
Okay.
about dating.
I would love-
Let's
I would
go.
love-
Let's go. It's a challenge. Dating is a challenge.
Love to
I
know
love this
your
stuff. Maybe I'll learn
answers
something.
and it's relevant. Yeah. So our last episode was about the fact that I don't really I'm not good with red flags with men
Okay.
and how I picked a really bad last boyfriend. And this is really relevant to the story. So yeah, I think this would be a great game to play for you.
Yeah, this is a real casual atmosphere here. Casual, but professional.
I love it. I'm having so much fun. I'm like, this is freaking great. Okay.
Flag it or fix it. So is this a red flag, which means you wouldn't go with the guy, or would you try to fix him? Ready?
Okay.
He messages you sup at 1:38 a.m.
That would be a
Meaning-
fix it. Yeah.
Wait, meaning like
Meaning
he's never messaged you before. You guys linked up on what? Of course, my question automatically was, does he have your number already? Have you guys spoken before? And yeah.
So you're on a dating
Yeah, but
app.
that wouldn't bother me. I'd be like, oh, good. Yeah,
Okay, here's
I
another
like
one.
that. Yeah, that's good.
Getting way too drunk on the first date.
That would probably, unless we both got drunk, and then I wouldn't care. Then it would be fun. But if it just
Okay.
he was and I wasn't, then that would be a little bit weird, maybe.
I told Blaine the
So
last episode.
red flag.
Yes. Well, so it depends on your level of drunk, right? Like the
Right.
guy, I didn't go into depth about one of the 2 dates that I went on recently, where the guy was already hammered before I even got to the bar, to the restaurant to meet him. He was already like
That's red flag.
Yeah, he was already like 5 old fashions in, and then still had to wait for me to have a drink and dinner. But I ended up going with him back to his place. It was in the same neighborhood, just to say, not to hook up, just to see his place and meet his dog. And
make sure he got home safely.
Right. And on the drive between, there's a gas station in the neighborhood. And from the restaurant to his place, he had me go to the gas station that's right there in his neighborhood, pick up 2 gas station bottles of wine and bring it back. He got into one of the bottles of wine, finished it to himself at his place, then proceeded to try to get into the second bottle of wine, right? I had no wine at all whatsoever. I had nothing to drink, right?
Yeah. Oh, geez.
Could not get the cork out. He pulls out a power drill, and says, Reed, I'm going to hold the bottle. You drill into the cork to pull it out. This is how hammered he was. I'm like, I don't think it's going to work out. I got to go. I'm sorry. You sober up and have a loaf of bread, and I'll talk to you some other time.
Not a loaf of bread.
Yeah.
I'm with you on that. Yeah. I mean, the five drinks when you show up, no, that shows he's not serious or he has an issue, and who wants to deal with that? Like, get it fixed and then I'll go out with you. Right.
Yeah, that's what's scary. I think he has an issue. I think he's one of those people that has like a tumbler in his car on the way to the office every day.
Yeah. It's sad.
So yeah, I agree.
To get help.
Getting too drunk on the first date. My guy fell out of a booth at a steakhouse, so that wasn't good.
You're giving me good plot devices here. I like these stories. Yeah. The drill and falling out of the booth. I mean, I enjoy having drinks, but I don't get shit-faced drunk. I don't know if I can say that, but shit-faced drunk.
Yes, you can curse.
It's just like I love tequila, and that can just make you so happy and horny. Sorry.
Yeah. I think some people just get so nervous on dates. They just take it too far.
Yeah, it was like Blaine when the podcast started.
That's not a good sign.
No, I'm just kidding. But wait, what kind of tequila? Because I'm similar in the sense that if I don't give me Cafe Patron, but give me regular Patron, clear Patron. Clear Patron,
yeah,
and
clear.
I'm fun. I'm a great time. Cafe Patron.
Yeah.
I'm probably still a great time, but I might be naked in the middle of the street or, a lot to handle. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So,
well, you have to pace tequila. Like if you drink too much too fast, then you're like a fool. And that's never happened to me. But yeah, no, I like Casamigos. I like Don Julio, like for the basics, or Patron. And there's some really delicious ones like that Casa Azul, I think. But I don't drink that much. But I love tequila. It makes me happy. I think I read or heard at one point that tequila is the only alcohol that is not a depressant because it's
It's true. It is an upper. You are correct. 100%.
And it definitely makes me happy. Yeah.
FYI, here in Texas, we drink ranch waters, which is just really tequila, Topo Chico, and fresh lime juice with a little tahini on the rim. So you should try it if you like tequila. It's delicious. Very good.
Yeah, you got to come down to Dallas.
Tequila. Yeah. I haven't been there forever. I have a couple of friends that live there, actually.
Okay, flag it or fix it. On his dating profile, it says, no femmes, fats, mask only.
Should I be PC here or should I give you...
We're not PC, we're not PC gays.
I know. I don't like that there's no femmes or whatever, but I'm attracted to masculine guys. Well, it wouldn't be a red flag necessarily unless they said anything derogatory or negative. I mean, it may be a preference. It wouldn't be the part that I love, but because I am attracted to masculine guys, that would override the other part. So I would probably be okay with it. With a little bit of a footnote, like, I don't like this, but yeah, he's masculine. Okay, let's talk.
I think that's fair. I agree. I mean, I think as long as you're just not like rude to everybody, I think people are allowed to have preferences. I think this is like so ridiculous.
Yeah.
I'll be the controversial one and say I just think it's ridiculous when people are like, "Oh, you're not allowed to have preferences." I don't know why every gay has a preference.
But I don't know that they need to say
otherwise.
that in the profile, but whatever.
Oh, I agree. I don't think you have to say it in the profile.
Well, that's like saying, why doesn't anybody have top or bottom in it? Because nobody wants to, I don't know. I feel like people just want to get to the point. Like, are you a top or are you a bottom? Because if I fall for this person,
It's exhausting.
this personality, and then it comes down to a week in, you find out you're both bottoms. Even though these days you have to be verse, apparently. I don't know. Yeah, I think
it depends on chemistry. That stuff to me is like, I might feel different with one person than I do with another person,
Agreed.
I don't like all those labels and stuff.
Yeah, I consider myself very neutral in that department, though I have been called one thing over the other. But I don't know. I feel like in the bedroom, I want like, if you have that connection with somebody, let's roll around and fall off the bed, for crying out loud. I don't care. Like, let's do dumb stuff.
It's about fun and pleasure. Like, find the right spots,
Exactly.
What are we talking about?
Okay, so this is my favorite one. You're dating somebody, you're in a relationship. Well, no, you're dating somebody, and he says he wants something real, but he hasn't deleted Grindr yet.
Something real, but I'm not willing to delete Grindr. I don't know.
I would say if you're far enough along and you're kind of like decided you're not sleeping with other people, delete the freaking Grindr. Who needs it? Like, what's the point? Unless somebody says, "Oh, I'm just looking at." It depends on the character of the person and how trustworthy. But I would be happy to delete all the apps if I were into somebody, bar none. So maybe I would expect that of someone, but I might give a little bit of grace because I know that I am a freak. Nobody else thinks the way I do about these things.
No, actually, I've learned that people do. They're just few and far between, but they do.
Yeah.
Did you hear
I mean,
I did. Delete it. I say delete it.
Yeah, I agree. I agree on that one.
That. Yeah.
I just don't see how you could focus or invest time into someone when you have other distractions. Does that make sense? It's like it's basically window shopping still. You're not really doing it. Like, if you're still on Grindr,
I agree.
Why are we dating? So
Gays love to window shop.
Yeah.
Okay, suddenly acts like 2 dates are a committed relationship.
Red flag.
Ooh, that's me.
No.
I've been guilty of that. Oh, because I'm very enthusiastic. So I would say red flag, because it's something I've changed in myself. But I'm kind of like, I'm guilty of like, ooh, this is a good thing. I love this. Yeah. But I'm not a relationship like, let's move in.
Yeah. Okay. So have you ever been on the other end of it though, where you take somebody else out on 2 dates, or are you of the sense where on the first date whether or not this is going to work out?
No, there's no way to know that. I mean, you could have the butterflies and be all excited about it for several dates, but I would be creeped out if somebody were doing that to me.
Exactly.
So red flag. Okay. That's a good way of thinking about it.
You're welcome. What's the next one, Blaine?
The next one is grainy photos on the profile that look like they were taken 10 years ago.
Total red flag. Yeah.
I agree. You know who doesn't agree? Reed.
What do you mean?
No, because you ask if you should talk to these guys. This is why I have this question.
So, Blaine, I still post pictures that are probably grainy that I took yesterday with my very fancy iPhone Pro, whatever. Blaine, so that's why I'm like, what? I mean, it could just be a mistake. Maybe they're army guys on leave or in Afghanistan, and maybe that's why the photo's grainy. I don't know, but I like to. Okay.
He's like the
but you can
captain
tell,
of
like,
Catfish.
grainy old. But you could tell old, grainy, and you could tell like, okay, this guy probably doesn't take good pictures. I mean, I think there's a difference when they're trying to hide it. Or I love it like when the first picture is like, hey, and then you go 3 photos in and you're like, oh, you just aged 20 years and look like a completely different person.
Yeah, those are the worst.
I've actually asked a couple of people like, which photo do you look like now? It doesn't go well.
It's amazing.
No,
That's all the red
that's
flags.
a red flag.
You know, I just started back on them again, and I've really only met people in real life over the last few years. And I have to say, I had to get off because it's too overwhelming. It's too much.
It's too much, but it's also like when you meet someone in person, I have a much better chance if I go to a party or to, out to a bar with friends. Like last night I went to a sports bar and I ended up talking to like all these guys. They were all couples, but it was really fun. And I think you push yourself a little bit more and if there's like that chemistry there right away. The apps are just like, oh my God, it's such a waste of time. Not that I don't use them, but yeah, they frustrate me. I just want to be in a relationship and be added to the whole fishbowl.
Have you been approached by any couples? Is that what you're like? You were meeting a lot of people, but right, yeah.
Oh, you mean last night? No, they were just they just happened to be couples. Like I didn't know. I was like, oh, are you single? No. Are you single? No, I'm with him.
Oh, okay.
That kind of thing. And you're like, okay, yeah. It was more like that. But we had a lot of fun talking. Yeah.
Blaine's
is that
dying.
it for the
Hold on
questions, Blaine? Is he laughing or is he? It's fuzzy.
He's
His
choking.
photo is fuzzy.
No, sorry, I was choking.
Did you have questions for us, Robert?
Gosh, this is such a good dialogue. We could just like order dinner in and keep talking.
I mean, these usually go till about dinner.
Yeah, it's so much fun. You're both entertaining and I don't know, you just kind of like pair off each other very well.
Cool. So anyway, Robert, I just want to thank you for writing something that'll really stay with so many of us because, I think we'll all kind of remember our summers in between. I mean, I know I did. I have so many of them. And I really just appreciated this book so much. It was just really incredible. So thank you for giving it to us. I find, books such a special thing. And thank you so much. I'm going to give a copy, I know, to my mom now.
Oh, wonderful.
Conversation today. So thanks so much. So to our viewers, pick up This Summer in Between, wherever books are sold. And Robert, you want to kind of tell everyone where you can get it and follow you and all that stuff. We'll put all the links to in our...
Absolutely, I will. And I'm just going to share, not because it's giving me a big head, but I was selected as a finalist for the NIEA Awards 2 weeks ago. So the books will now have this cool little gold
amazing
seal.
Congratulations.
Yeah, that was a
Yes,
shocker. Thank you. It made me really happy. And the book is available pretty much in all online formats: Amazon, Apple, Barnes and Noble, I think Target, I think in Europe, Saxo or Saxon, and any independent bookstore can order it if they're not carrying it. And it's a grassroots effort to make bookstores more aware of the book, because so many come out every week, and they can order it for you or order it for your book club and that sort of thing. And on my website, robertraasch.com, you can just hit a link and it'll take you to all of the places that you can buy the book.
Amazing. Well, awesome. Well, I'm so glad that you are our first author. And
oh my God, it's so much fun. You guys are amazing.
On. You're amazing.
Thank you so much.
Yeah, seriously,
thank you for dealing with me as my first author interview. I really appreciate it. You were awesome.
So are you, both of you. Great.
Thank you, Robert.
Thanks. And thank you all for joining us for Coffee with Gays.
Something else.
Please do.
Yes.
Sorry,
we'll definitely have you back. I mean, we definitely are going to continue having more guests, and we're just been really enjoying it. So, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So, cheers, y'all.
Beautiful.
Cheers.
There you go.
Thank you.
Cheers. Salute.